horror of the white night. The rain had started in the afternoon. The sky hung low in a grey haze, and the air was damp. Tae-su held the steering wheel as he and his wife, Mi-jung, drove slowly down the national road. They were on their way back from the funeral of a distant relative. The air in the mourning hall had been heavy. Even in grief, people exchanged perfunctory greetings after a long time apart, and the chief mourner personally packed them a box of ceremonial food. That box now sat in the back seat. It was filled with pancakes, seasoned greens, rice cakes, and fruit. At first, the smell was savory and warm, but the longer the drive went on, the heavier and more cloying the scent became. No longer food, but more like the odor of old, damp earth or a wet rag. The national road had few streetlights. The wipers scraped rainwater away with a monotonous sound, and the radio played the languid voice of a late-night DJ. "It's midnight now. Let me keep you company on your lonely night drive." The low, hushed voice somehow made the silence inside the car feel even deeper. Then, Tae-su's eyes fixed on the road ahead. About 50 meters away, two women were standing by the roadside. They wore white clothes, their long hair hanging down. Mi-jung looked out the window and said, "At this hour it's dangerous for them to be standing there. Let's give them a ride." Tae-su hesitated. Leaving them in the rain felt wrong, but a strange unease crawled up inside him. In the end, he pulled over. The wipers cleared the windshield, and their figures came into sharper focus. At that instant, a chill like electricity raced up the back of his neck. The women were visible only from the waist up. They had no lower bodies. Mi-jung swallowed hard. "Honey, they don't have feet." The two women simultaneously raised their heads. Pale faces, black, swollen eyes, frozen smiles. Their hair hung wet, yet no raindrops slid down. And though the night was windless, the hems of their garments fluttered ever so slightly. Tae-su instinctively shoved the gear into screech. The tires screamed against the wet asphalt. The car shot forward. A glance in the rearview mirror made his stomach twist. The two women were gliding after them, not touching the ground. Even at 80 kilometers per hour, the distance did not shrink. His wife clutched the food box in the back seat. "Honey, what if this is because of the food?" At once, Tae-su remembered a warning he'd heard earlier that day. Never take ceremonial food home after a funeral. The spirits will follow you. He rolled the window down. Snatching a plate of fruit from the box, he hurled it out onto the roadside. In the mirror, the two women stopped. Slowly, very slowly, they lowered their heads, as if to pick something up from the ground. Seizing the moment, Tae-su floored the accelerator. His heart pounded wildly. His palms were slick with sweat. By the time they reached their neighborhood, the rain had almost stopped. In silence, they unloaded their things. Half the food remained in the box, untouched. Neither had the courage to eat it. That night, Tae-su could not sleep. The clock read 3 a.m. Then from the kitchen came a faint whoosh sound, like a wet cloth dragging across the floor. When he entered the living room, his breath caught. On the table sat the very fruit plate he had thrown away. Drops of water trailed from the dish to the floor, forming two long streaks, as though something without legs had crawled forward, using only its arms. And on the window pane, not inside, but outside, two faces pressed faintly against the glass. Pale, wet hair streamed down the glass, as the faces slowly curved into a smile. Tae-su collapsed backward, choking down a scream. Outside, the air was still. No wind stirred, and yet, the women's hair swayed gently in the unmoving night air.